Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session on CIA Challenge Awareness Exam. As you all are aware that it is just one single shot exam to get CIA qualification, to add on CIA qualification in your CV and instead of a three-part exam. We have with us today CA Arpit Garg. Arpit is a faculty for CIA, and he's having 12 plus year of experience in business process advisory, IT risk management, SOX, IFC, control assurance, fraud analytics, and robotic process automation. He has worked across different industries and business processes, and presently he's the partner with Riskman Consulting. Previously, he worked with EY, Genpact, and SNB in his career. He's a qualified CIA, and I'm sure you all will get a good insight about the CIA Challenge Exam Awareness. He takes multiple sessions with IIA Bombay for CIA Challenge exams. Whatever questions you have, you can write it in the chat box. And Arpit, would you like to take up questions along with the session or towards the end?
Sana, I'm happy to take it along throughout the session rather than keeping it to end. That will keep the session participative and can clear the doubts then and there. So no worries.
Absolutely. Fine. So you can put the questions in the chat box, and Arpit will answer your questions during the session itself.
Right.
Welcome, Arpit. Over to you.
Thank you, Sana. I hope I can share my screen. Just allow me a second, please. All right. So good evening, everyone. Hope you all can hear me and you all can see my screen as well. Can I get a quick confirmation on the chat box? Sana, can you see the screen? All right.
Yes, we can.
So before we start, I think we have got the raise hand. So I hope everyone can hear me out. So I think Sana has already introduced me, folks. A pleasure to have you all in the CIA awareness challenge exam awareness sessions, awareness about this program. So let me quickly set out the agenda for today's awareness session that IIA India has brought in. I think I wanted to cover as part of my introduction introduction, and then we would like to cover the overview of the CIA challenge course. I wanted to cover around the eligibility piece. What is CIA challenge exam all about? What is the fee structure? What is the application testing window? What is the part-wise weightage? And then also wanted to touch upon how is it really connected with actually the practical side of it, what we do in terms of service lines from a professional word standpoint of view. Post that, we can cover some of the frequently asked questions through the slides, which is generally being asked, which can act as one place of answering all your FAQs. And beyond that, also, if you have some queries, I'll be happy to take it up on any additional queries. Folks, just to quickly introduce, I think Sana has fairly done the job, but just to brief you all, I am a qualified chartered accountant, a certified employee, and a CRMA risk professional, bringing over a decade experience in the risk assurance and consulting services. Worked back with ENY, Genpact ERC, and did my articles from SNB for the last approximately 4 years. Ventured my own firm in the name of Riskman Consulting. That's pretty much what I bring in from industry experience standpoint of view. And as Sana also mentioned, I'm also faculty with IIA to conduct these challenge sessions. So feel free to ask as many as questions as you want in terms of how do we go about this course, in terms of learning, in terms of the as much as any number of questions that you have for this course, I'll be happy to answer them. To begin with, I hope you all would, of course, know what is CIA all about. So let me just put it this way, folks. CIA is a certified internal auditor program. It's the only globally recognized professional qualification for the internal auditors, which is awarded by IIA. This is a flagship certification that has been given, and from a latest survey that was conducted, 94% people, especially the internal heads of the various global companies, believe that CIA can be overarching certification as compared to CPA, CA, CISA, and CFE as well, considering the kind of content, considering the kind of learning that one can gauge in terms of what is this program all about, especially for internal audit profiles. So CIA is a flagship program, as I mentioned. In terms of what is the difference between CIA Challenge versus CIA Partwise, are these two is there are two different types of certifications that are being issued by IA? The answer is absolutely no. Irrespective of the mode that one follow, be it a challenge exam or be it a partwise exam, one will get the same certification. So by just going with the flagship program, by just going with the challenge exam, it doesn't mean that you are getting some different kind of certification from the IA. It's the same certification that one would get if they will go through the part-wise certification as well. Folks, I hope you're all clear with what is CIA as a certification. As Sana mentioned earlier also, just to brief you all, CIA Challenge exam is again a one-sitting exam as compared to the part-wise exam. With the challenge exam, one can go and appear for all the 3 parts related content and appear for one single examination, which covers approximately 150 MCQs. And it's a 3 hours exam that needs to be appeared. So once one can appear through a challenge exam mode, or one can appear through a part-wise mode. But for challenge exam, there are certain eligibility criteria which we'll understand as we move forward. So challenge exam, as I said, is a single exam. One instead of going with a part-wise exam where one has to go with each of the part 1, part 2, and part 3 individually and clear those exams, through CIA Challenge, one can easily sit and cover and clear the whole of certification in a short span of time. So that's the benefit of the CIA Challenge exam. And again, for doing that, one has to be a member of the qualified accounting bodies, folks. So this has been recently come. So I think for the last 1.5 to 2 years, CIA Challenge exam has been introduced by IA Global, and only if one is members of one of the qualified accounting bodies, and there are 18 accounting bodies, and we'll talk about it, one can appear and clear this CIA program. So let me just quickly run through which are these accounting bodies. So on the screen, if you can see, these are the 18 accounting bodies for people who are members of these accounting bodies. And again, if you have qualified, let's say, for example, you're a chartered accountant, but you have not applied for membership of ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, in that case, you will not be eligible for CI Challenge exam. So you have to be a member, active member of these institutes to appear for the CIA Challenge exam. So that's a requirement or the eligibility criteria for the CIA Challenge exam. So total 18 accounting bodies. Recently, the 18th accounting bodies, CISA qualified professionals, have been added to the eligibility criteria. Earlier, these were 17. Especially, I mean, for a larger forum from an India standpoint of view, mostly people who are chartered accountants, people who are certified public accountants, people who are ACCA qualified would be eligible for appearing for the CI Challenge exam. People who are a company secretary or a cost to work in accountant, CMA professionals, these are not allowed to appear for the CI Challenge exam, and they will have to go through the part-wise route. So that's broadly on the CI Challenge exam. People from a global standpoint of view, people from a global accounting body standpoint of view, for example, someone who is a chartered accountant from a Singapore chartered accountant, or someone from a Scotland chartered accountants are also eligible. Likewise, people from UK standpoint of view, if they've cleared their chartered accountants in England and Wales, they would be eligible. But I'm hoping this orientation or this awareness session more from a India standpoint of view. So for you all, people who are chartered accountant, CISA qualified, CPA, and ACCA qualified, for you all, it would be you all would be eligible for the CIA Challenge exam. Folks, that's around the eligibility. If I have to talk about the exam format, from an examination format standpoint of view, as I said, we have total 150 multiple choice questions for this examination. The total available time for this examination is 3 hours, which means we have 180 minutes. Precisely, we split it out that, okay, every question that we have to appear it in a maximum 1.2 minutes. There is no scheduled break for this examination, which means that if you want to take a break, you will have to consume the time from your examination time itself. So you want to take a bio break, you want to take a water break, you can take that break, but then that time of break will be consumed from your examination time. And of course, all these exams, especially in India, has to be uh, from a center, which is Pearson VUE Center. So if you are in any city, let's say if you are in Delhi, if you are in Bombay, you are in Noida, or you are in any other parts of the city, parts of the country, you can appear for this exam right sitting from the nearest Pearson VUE Center. So that's you cannot. It's not a proctor-based exam for India. And one cannot appear for this exam from home. So one has to go to the nearest Pearson VUE Center to appear for this exam. Folks, there is no negative marking for this exam. However, the passing score percentage is very high. We have to score 80% and above to clear this exam, which is the total exam is 750 marks. We have to score above 600. We don't get the actual result as in if we have cleared the exam. So if we have cleared, we will get the simple result status as pass. If we have not cleared this examination, in that case, we'll get the result with the exact numbers. And then along with the numbers also, we will get what are the improvement areas in which sections we need to improve. So that's how the exam format is all about. All 150 questions are multiple choice questions. And in order to clear this exam, I generally encourage people to have a very, very good and thorough conceptual clarity rather than memorizing the topics. So that is the approach and the importance of the CI challenge exam. If I have to move to the next slide in terms of what is the examination fee, how is it different from the part-wise examination fee? So let me put it this way, folks. While challenge exam brings its own benefits because one can appear for a single sitting exam, plus the challenge examination fee structure also include the IA content that is provided by IA CIA. By the IA itself. Once you registered for the course, you will be getting the IA content to go through it. Plus, additionally, you will be getting 1,000 plus multiple choice questions to practice for the examination also. Uh, Let me just help you to get some more clarity. Please remember that, and I'm trying to make that this awareness session more enlightened for folks who will plan to appear for this examination. Please remember that these MCQs doesn't get repeated in the examination. So which means that one will have to not follow an approach to kind of learn these MCQs and then go for examination. This is more for you to kind of practice, understand where you are making error, get the concept clarity better, and then go for the examination. Uh, Basic assumption that, okay, we have practiced the MCQs that have been given by the IAA, or for that matter, for any other study material content, same MCQs doesn't get repeated in the examination. So one have to get a thorough concept clarity to get through and clear this examination. This is more for practicing. But yes, with the CIA challenge exam, the cost for this examination for people who are CPA qualified or ACCA or chartered accountant or other accounting bodies except CISA. Except CISA folks, one will have to go with a cost of $896 for a first time take, with which one will get the registration done, will get the application fee done, will get content as well as the practice of the MCQs question bank as well. Um, if one has to go, one is a CISA qualified, then the examination fee is higher, or a registration fee is higher. So one will have to pay about $1195 for this CI challenge exam if the person is CISA qualified. So that's the difference in the cost. Of course, for IA India member, there's a discounted fee. As you all can see on the screen, there is a significant cost difference in terms of what is the IA India member fee versus what is IA non-member fee. So for a non-CISA qualified, other than CISA qualified, all the other accounting bodies qualified, if any of you are IA India member, then the cost is $896. And if you don't want to take a membership, then it's just $1,545 is the cost for first time take of the exam, first registration or first take of the exam. Similarly, if a person doesn't clear this exam, for the reappearing, there is a cost of $595 for an India member versus a non-member getting a cost of $945. So folks, that's the difference in terms of fees, and that's why we generally encourage people to be a India member for going for this exam, and there are multiple benefits of being IA India member in terms of knowledge sharing, in terms of multiple trainings that IA India conducts, versus a lot of networking events and conferences that IA India conduct, and the monthly magazine. So I think Sana can probably share more about it, but there is a huge opportunity to get collaborated with more than 4,500 IA members right in India itself, who are active members of India, and who basically share a lot of knowledge in different forums to kind of connected in this journey of internal audit. So that's very brief in terms of what is the examination fee, what is the course fee, and what sort of inclusions are as part of this course fee. Unlike part-wise folks, just to give you a little bit more light, part-wise we don't get the content. So we have to register for the examination. So we'll have to pay an application fee. Then we'll have to pay a registration fee for each of the parts. And then once we have registered and paid for each part, then we again pay then again we'll have to kind of appear for this exam each part wise. So roughly the total cost of a part wise is also about $705, other than the if you are a IA India member. And if you're not an IA India member, again you will have to kind of spend roughly about 1,500 odd dollars. So it's always good to be becoming a member and then going for the examination. So that's the very broad difference between part wise versus challenge exam. Part wise you will get no content, versus challenge exam we also get the content plus the possibility to clear the whole exam in one go, versus the part wise, which generally will take between 3 months to 9 months or up to a year. It could vary depending on the kind of effort, the kind of urgency, kind of experience we bring in to kind of clear this exam. Folks, in both these examination, be it challenge or be it part wise, we have to clear the exam within 3 years window. So once we have registered for the examination, or once we have enrolled for this course, be it CI challenge exam or part wise, we'll have 3 years to clear this. So that's a very brief on what is this course and what is the difference between part wise and challenge exam. I'll quickly look. I think there's some Q&A. Fees include examination fees, Mayur? Yes. The examination fee, which is this $896 is actually including the examination fee. So yes, you will get the exam application fee. It's include the exam registration fee as well as the content and the MCQs is received in the challenge exam. However, in the part-wise exam, one has to pay application fee separately, then have to pay for each part examination fee, and they don't get the content. So that's and the total cost of the part wise is also $705 if you're going for each examination for the one time. And let's say if a person doesn't clear each of the part, then one has to repay the fee. For a part one, it's about $220. For part two and part three, it's about $189 each. So it's almost the same cost that gets incurred, while in the part wise you don't get the content. In the challenge exam you get the content also. So that's very brief of that's a brief about this AI challenge course examination fee, folks. If I have to talk about on the latest update, how you can register for the exam, what will be your testing window. So again, the registrations are open now for the CI challenge exam, which means that you can register for this exam latest till end of September 23. If you want to register somewhere in October 23, you will not be able to do it. You will have to wait for the next registration window to open. So and generally it gets open within a gap of 2 to 3 months. So for now the window is open. So if you all are interested, you can register for the CI challenge exam latest by 30th of September. And then again, you will have a decided testing window also. So you have a registration window that gets open, and then there's a testing window that has been given. So and within those testing window only you can appear for the exam. So it is in a way that you have a fixed month to kind of appear. So if you registered in September 20 by September 23, you have to appear either in November or February. You cannot appear in December, or you cannot appear in January. You will have to appear either in November 23 or February 23. Either of the window you can choose to kind of schedule your exam and then appear for this exam. So that is how it is structured for a new applicant. That would be the case, and people who have to kind of retake, Retake windows are generally June, August, November, February. So people, let's say if you appear in November 23 and if you are not able to clear, in that case, you can reappear in February 24. In case you are going for the first time in February 24, then you will have to reappear and you could not clear. In that case, you'll have to reappear somewhere in June 24. So what I'm trying to say is there are specific scheduled testing windows for the CI challenge exam. Generally for part-wise, it's not the case. So you can appear for the exam all throughout the year for a part-wise exam. Unlike, however, for challenge exam, we have a decided testing window and we have a decided a registration window also, that okay, within this month only you will have to register. If you want to register for this exam next month, you will not be able to register. So that's very brief on. Again, that's a brief about the process for registration and taking the CIA challenge exam. Once you have made the payment, um, as I said, you can appear for this exam within 180 days. So like if you have registered by September, so you will have to appear within the next 6 months. Either November or February is one window you will have to mandatorily take. Otherwise, the amount that you're paid for will not be useful. So you'll have to appear by them. Um, Moving on, how do you kind of registered for your examination? So once you have registered for the CIA challenge course, you get your global membership ID done. You get a CCMS account, which is Candidate Certification Management System account, link on your registered email ID, from which within which you have a Pearson VUE tab where you can click on Access Pearson VUE tab, and then from there you can register for your exam to the nearest Pearson VUE center for whichever city you reside to. So uh, that's how one can register for the examination, getting into their CACMS profile. Uh, that option you get only once you have applied for the course and you've got the membership detail from IA Global. Folks, a fundamental doubt, a lot of people may ask that, okay, IA India versus IA Global, is it a different thing? Is IA India give a membership ID separately? Again, the answer is no. IA India is basically part of the IA Global. So despite you're making a payment to IA India, the membership ID that you receive is a global membership ID directly from IA Global. Okay. Uh, Again, you can select when you're applying for a membership, you can apply for your nearest chapter. So we have Delhi chapter, we have Mumbai chapter, we have Bangalore chapter. Likewise, we have multiple clubs also in India for IIA. So again, you can register to the nearest chapter. And again, it is indifferent. Let's say if you are in a unique city of, let's say, a Pondicherry, and we don't have, let's say, any club or any chapter, you can select any one of the nearest chapter also. It doesn't make much of a difference. The only thing is that you can it's good to be part of those chapters which is locally near to you, so that if in future any such networking event happens, you can also participate. Which doesn't mean that, okay, if you are a IA Delhi member, that doesn't mean that, okay, you cannot be a participation in a IA Bombay event. That doesn't work. So it's all for IA India, all members generally. Okay. So that's very brief about the membership benefits. That's very brief about how do we kind of enroll for the course, how do we register for the examination. As I said, unsuccessful candidates can retake the exam. Uh, Again, this all of it needs to be done within 3 years of application approval, and the minimum gap to reappear is 60 days. So, and which is also the fact of the case, because if a person is appearing in November 23 and not able to clear it, can only appear in February 24. So again, within February 24, you can select any dates. It's not that you will have to select the first week, second week, third week, whatever is the earliest date or whatever is the date you want to choose, you can choose as per your convenience to the nearest Pearson VUE center. The slots, you can see it through the Access Pearson VUE tab from your CCMS profile. So that's the process for registering and taking the challenge exam, everyone. If I have to talk more on the course content and how do we connect in terms of practical word, I would like to cover first that, and then we will quickly look on some of the frequently asked questions to kind of take a look on how and generally asked questions. We can take a quick look on that. I think we have some Q&As. I'll just take a pause here. So Money is asking, is there a fee to be IA member for a chartered accountant? Money, yes, there is a fee for IA member. The first time fee for IA member is 1,500, and then we have 4,000 rupees plus GST as a cost for becoming a IA member. this is the annual cost of 4,000 as a renewal fee is being paid on an annual basis. So yes, there is a fee for being an IA member. And as I said, that brings a lot of other benefits along with the discounted fee that we can get for the certification programs. Okay, so Mayur is asking what is February 24 on request mean? Okay, so I think Mayur, you can on request. This is for people who probably are not appearing or want to take it up separately. But again, you have the two testing windows. You can appear in November or you can appear in February 24. You don't have to. On request doesn't really create any impact. You have the two testing windows to choose on, so it doesn't create any difference there. When can we schedule the exam for November, February? Pragya, so once you have paid this fee, so let's say you have paid the fee in September, and you've got all the link for it for the CIA challenge registration. Once you have your CCMS accounts done and your CI challenge registration is done, completed. Generally, it takes not more than 7 days to complete it. You will get your CCMS account access, and then you can go into your CCMS account. Immediately, you can register for your November exam. So sitting today, once you have enrolled, you can register for your November examination or February examination after your registration of the CI challenge course. So you don't have to wait for October or November month until unless that examination window itself is not coming in the Pearson View Center that you have selected. If that is the case, you will have to choose a different Pearson View Center to look on the dates that are available. Sometimes there could be a case that, okay, you want to sit, let's say, on 15th of Feb, but 15th of Feb is not available on on that nearest Pearson View Center which you want to go. So, but you have a choice, like you have multiple other centers in the city you are residing. In that case, you will have to look for other options, and you can accordingly take the dates. So it's all based on the testing window or the time that is available in the nearest Pearson View Center or whichever Pearson View Center you want to appear for the exam. I hope I was able to answer that. Moving on, I think there is another few queries. It says, do we need to select the exam date separately? I mean, not at the time of registration of the CHN exam? Absolutely. We don't have to schedule the examination as soon as we are enrolling for the course. Once we have enrolled for the course, as I said, we will be getting a completion details that, okay, you have enrolled for the course, and your global membership ID, your CCMS IDs gets created. And once you have that details available, then you can get into the CCMS and then select the examination date. So you can select the examination date separately as per your choice, but for the respective testing window month, which means that you can appear either in November or February 24. You will have to pick the dates of your choice that you want to appear. Okay, I think there are few questions more. It says follow-up question is, when I need to select the exam, is there any time gap we need to maintain? I think I've already covered, right? So when I need to select the examination, once you have the registration done and you have the access, you have your access to your CCMS account, you can take your testing date for the examination. Pragya is asking, can we book in Feb also for Feb? Yes. Again, Pragya, you can select any dates, but the only reason and the only risk that we see is if you're probably planning in Feb, um, you can do that. The only thing is that the option should be available in Pearson View Center. From a practical standpoint, if you want to ask experience, the answer is yes, you can get the testing window. Generally, on a nearest Pearson View Center, especially people for the part-wise exam, they do this because they can appear, they don't have even the month selected, right? So they can appear any day, anytime during the 3 years. So people who want to take examination 3 days down the line, they can just choose the window and they generally get it. So that should not be a problem. If you want to book your exam in the Feb, for the Feb month, I think it should not be a problem. But my only request would be to kind of keep a tap on your Pearson View Center, because once you have that registration done, you can check as many as times you want through your CCMS account that, okay, what is the windows on, what are the days for which the Pearson View Center is giving you slots available. So you can continuously check and then you can accordingly book a date also. So that should not be a problem. All right, great. So do we have any other doubts in terms of examination, examination and fee related aspects? Okay, I hope we are clear. Moving on now, a very important portion of this session, folks, is all about the weightage, all about the uh, um, topics that gets covered in the course, and how is it also different, because recently we have got CISA students also who can appear for the CIA. So there's a slight weightage difference in terms of what is for a CA CPA or a ACCA versus what is for the CISA qualified. So if I have to cover CA, ACCA or CPA, or maybe you can say other than CISA qualified, there are three parts that gets covered in the CI challenge exam. The first one is essential of internal auditing. The second one is practice of internal auditing. And the third one is business knowledge for internal auditing. Folks, the weightage that is there is part 1, 35%, part 2, 43%, and part 3 is 22%. So together 100%. Again, these weightages are indicative in nature. So you cannot just follow a methodology that, okay, there are 150 questions, 150 into 35% is roughly about, let's say 50 questions will only come from part 1. And likewise, 150 into 43, let's say 67 or 70 questions would come from part 2. No, these are indicative in nature, and generally, yes, the number of questions could be asked around these topics from that perspective, but it's not like you cannot get little bit more questions from part 1 or little less questions from part 2 or little more questions from part 3 also. These are highly indicative, but yes, that's the pattern that has been followed. This is for CA, except CISA, folks. This is the weightage. If I have to look at on and tell you all for CISA, what is it? So for CISA, the weightage for part 1 is 50%, weightage for part 2 is 30%, and weightage for part 3 is 20%. So the weightage for part 1 is significantly more in for a CISA holder as compared to I accept CISA holder, because part 3, when I say business knowledge for internal auditing, folks, the larger section is around the IT section, which for a CISA candidate would not be applicable because they are already information security auditor qualified. And so the content is more focusing on financial management and the business acumen section, and the weightage for the part 1 and part 2 has part 1 has been significantly increased for CISA candidates. So that's on the broader weightage. If I have to cover in terms of what you study actually for each of these parts, folks. So part 1 has 6 topics, precisely 6 sections, we call it out. The first section is foundation of internal auditing. This is where we understand the uh, basic topics like what is the IPPF framework all about, what is mandatory guidance, what is recommended guidance, what is the definition of internal auditing, what are the code of ethics of internal auditors, what are the standards, different types of standards that we have. Like we have attribute standards, we have performance standards, we have interpretation standards, we have implementation standards. What is the difference on these? What each standard govern is what we study in the section 1 itself. And then we also talk about what is internal audit charter. So we basically, as a topic suggest, foundation of internal auditing, we understand uh, the understanding over IPPF framework, which is International Professional Practice Framework given by IAA, and then we cover the topics related to code of ethics and the internal audit charter. Folks, that's on the section 1. And then as we proceed and forward, we understand topics like independence. We talk about objectivity, we talk about proficiency, we talk about due professional care as employers, what we need. And then we also talk about quality assurance and improvement program, which is QAIP. So these are the critical topics that we cover as part of the part 1, essentials of internal auditing. And then we also build our understanding around topics like governance, risk management, control frameworks, different types of controls. And we end up with fraud related risk and controls and the forensic aspect. So part 1 is that detailed. We build all our fundamental concepts in terms of understanding the basics about internal auditing, in terms of what is expected out of us as employers and as a chief audit executive. And then we understand thoroughly that, okay, in which scenarios are we violating the standards requirement or the code of ethics requirement, and then what as a function is important to run is important, and how QIP plays an important role there. And then understanding the newsity of our own business, where we talk and critically add value from a governance standpoint of view, risk management standpoint of view, and control standpoint of view, all gets covered under the part 1. Folks, and when we move to the part 2, part 2 is exactly what we do in the practical world, which is around the practice of internal auditing. So in this, we talk about how do we manage the internal audit activity as a function, and then right from preparing a risk-based internal audit plan, to planning and engagement, to performing the engagement in terms of gathering the information, analyzing the information, preparing the work programs, getting the supervision done and review done, communicating the results, and then doing the follow-up. So all of that, what we do in practical terms from an internal knowledge standpoint of view, it gets covered in the part 2. And part 3 is all about the business knowledge for implementing, where we talk about business acumen like project management, some management strategy related aspects. We talk about data analytics, and we talk about IT and security, where within IT and security, we talk about information security, different types of attacks that could be there in terms of cyber security, in terms of malware attacks and all. And then we talk about cyber security, emerging tech, uh, data privacy related topics as part of this section 3, which is information technology and security. We also talk about IT governance. We talk about IT frameworks like COBIT, ESAC, VAL IT, and likewise we cover different topics. So it's a comprehensive content coverage in terms of what we learn out of the course. Folks, this is for, again, for people who are other than CISA qualified. If I have to talk about CISA qualified, all of it between part 1 and part 2 stays the same. Only thing is, in the part 3, we get business acumen, financial accounting, and managerial accounting topics gets added. All that we have talked about, like data analytics and the section related IT and security, information technology security, is not part of, is not required for CISA holders, because it's assumed that, okay, they would already have that understanding because they've qualified CISA. So for them, financial management gets covered. Financial management related aspect is not covered for people who are CA CPA qualified, because again, the understanding is, as part of the CA CPA course, they would have understood that section very clearly already. So that's why financial management related topics are not asked by CA CPA, ACCA qualified folks, and people who are qualified CISA, they are not being tested for IT related aspects. So that's on the course content, folks. Again, as I said, this is a very comprehensive course in terms of our understanding, and really elevate our understanding on the profile and what is expected out of us as employers. Unlike just identifying some of the critical audit findings, how actually we can run this as a function with a better governance and with a better value add scenario is something that gets covered as part of the CI challenges course. So clearly the thought process changes once we have gone through this course. So that's about the importance of the course and the kind of content that we cover. Folks, I'll move on to the last slide, and then I'll take a few more questions in terms of if you have any, and then we can look at the generally asked FAQs topics also. And I would like to keep up the forum for more Q&As if any. So the last slide is all around what we do practically, folks. Okay. So as you all can see on the screen, this is specifically I share with all the students, all the members, that how we as employers are adding value in the organization. While we can say that, okay, as internal auditors, we are only talking about internal audits, but personally, for me, when I am running a full-fledged firm and when I look at the aspect of how as an employer we can add value to the organizations we are working with or to the clients that we are working with, I think we all would be familiar with this, but let me throw some more light. I mean, today when we're talking about internal audit, we're not just talking about internal audit, we're talking about different types of assurance and consulting services and the solutions that we kind of contribute and where we can contribute. So be it internal audit, be it Sarbanes-Oxley SOX related compliances, be it internal financial control related compliances, due diligence, fraud forensics, concurrent audits related aspects where we can give assurance services. From a consulting standpoint of view, helping organizations to have a standardized operating procedures, helping them with automations, business excellence, process reengineering is where we can actually give a lot of value add in terms of consulting. Today, we are talking about end-to-end solutions, folks, in terms of enterprise risk management, third-party risk management, IT risk management, control self-assessment, governance risk and compliance, anti-bribery, anti-corruption, anti-money laundering, credit risk, governance control hub, cybersecurity, digitization is all the places where we as employers can contribute. And if I have to put it this way, many of these are covered under the CIO content. When we cover the CIO content, we talk about ARM, we talk about IT risk management, we talk about CSA, we talk about cybersecurity, we talk about digitization, we talk about fraud forensic, we talk about financial controls, types of controls, we talk about internal audit, we talk about data privacy. In fact, from a compliance standpoint of view, we can do a lot in the data privacy, which is around the GDPR compliances, which is General Data Protection Regulation, CCPA, which is California Consumer Privacy. We can talk and contribute well on the ESG side, which is environment, social governance, which is today's hottest topic, folks. We're talking about data privacy, ESG. All of it get covered as part of what we understand and where we can start and we can build our base on. So definitely CIA, when we do, and this is specifically to add on in terms of what we as influencers can contribute. This is where I see the vision, or this is the horizon that I see for an influencer, where we can significantly add value to organizations and the organization that we're working with. So we can significantly add value in different these domains for a better but to demonstrate our own services with far more value add versus what we used to do in a traditional internal audit approach. So this is one key aspect that I wanted to share. I'll be happy to take some of the MCQs and then we can cover the FAQs slide as well. So let me just quickly take a look on. Um, okay, so I think we have few more questions. Uh, Someone is asking, please, could you let us know about eligibility criteria also? I think I've already covered, right? So for CIA challenge exam, one has to be qualified from all the 18 accounting bodies that we've talked about. For India specifically, a chartered accountant or a ACCA qualified or a CPA qualified or a CISA qualified can appear for the examination for the CI challenge exam. Okay, are there some classes available for this exam, Mani? Yes, there are classes available for the CI challenge exam. You can reach out to IIA Bombay, and I'll show as we move on the FAQ slides, we will cover that. We can cover. We will show you the coordinates, and yes, there are classes available for this examination from IIA Bombay. Uh, the next one is any previous experience in employment like 2 years, etc., is required for joining the course. Um, Again, for joining the course, there is no such criteria to join the course. You have to be a chartered accountant, and then you can enroll for the course. But yes, from an exit requirement standpoint of view, especially for the part-wise examination, yes, and in fact for the CIA certification also, like from a challenge exam standpoint of view, uh, one can get the certification once they have been able to submit their experience certificate, where they can submit that okay, they have been part of internal audit, risk advisory, operational risk, or any external audit profile also. If they are able to submit that, in that case they will be able to get the certification. So basically there is no entry requirement, there is experience as an exit requirement. Mayur is asking whether it's a better to give three-part exam or challenge exam. Again, Mayur, this is very subjective. If you want to clear it in one go, I think challenge exam is wonderful. It also depends on what kind of experience you bring in. If you believe that you have sufficient experience and you can you want to clear in limited time and you can devote larger time because the content you will have to cover in one go, I think challenge exam is well suited. But if you want to go slowly, gradually, and you want to clear it in a larger time gap, and let's say if your experience is also a little low, I would generally suggest okay, one should go for part-wise exam. Okay, Piyusha is asking, I'm an IA India member, but when I try to proceed with the registration for the CI challenge exam, is redirecting me to the IA Global site, which has option only for CISA holders. Is the registration not open as yet on the IA India site for the challenge exam? Piyusha, to my understanding, the window is open already, so you can appear for the CISA exam. For these queries, I would request from an administrative standpoint of view, you can reach out to Chanchal Mishra for answering these questions. Okay, so I think Chanchal would be able to help you on how do you register for the examination. Mayur is asking if I registered in September 23, can I give exam in 24? Mayur, yes. On by Feb, you can select the window either of November 23 or Feb 24. So mandatory, you will have to go by Feb 24. That would be for you to kind of appear the exam. Okay. I hope I was able to answer all your queries. I think we have few more. Okay, I think. Okay, so we have already mentioned that not required for challenge exams, experience certificate. So thank you for clarifying that. Chanchal. So for unlike part-wise where we have the experience certificate requirement for exit process, for challenge exam we don't need exit certification exit as in verification letter for your getting the certification. So if you've cleared, you have got the certification. For the part-wise exam, one will have to show an minimum experience certificate for 2 years. Um, how much time I should devote daily on my self-study to come out of with flying colors? Money again, see, the only point is it's not about time, it's about all about understanding the concepts. So if you bring in good experience already and you are aware of the topics that we have just talked about in part of the content, I think you can easily clear in. Even if you spend an average 2 to 3 hours on a daily basis for maybe 1.5 months time, I think it should be more than sufficient. If you actually don't have much of the experience, and that is where the effort increases, and accordingly one will have to spend that kind of a time to get the concept clarity. Important is conceptual clarity. I think the last question I've already clarified. For challenge exam, CIA certification will be received if the person has cleared the exam, then and there, no experience certificate is required. However, for part wise, experience certificate is required. Okay, for getting the certification, even after clearing the exam. So there's no entry requirement for experience, but there is an exit requirement for experience. All right, great. So I think I was able to address some of these, some of the important portion that I wanted to cover, everyone. If I have to cover the normally covered FAQs for CI challenge examination. Everyone, I think I've already talked about what is CI challenge exam all about. How is it different from part-wise exam? Will the CI challenge exam be conducted every year? Again, for today, as of today, yes. We are expecting that this to be held every year. Who conducts this exam? This is conducted by IA, INC. We have talked about the different accounting bodies already. Sometimes the question that is generally asked is, let's say if I've cleared one of those, as I've already talked about it, that okay, I've passed my CA examination, chartered accountancy, but I'm not an active member. Can I take the exam? The answer is no. One have to be an active member. Just by clearing the examination of that accounting body doesn't make you eligible. You will have to be an active member to register for the CA challenge exam. How do I demonstrate that I'm an active member of the accredited accounting body? You will need to provide the following evidence of your active membership: a scanned copy of the CA certificate, a screenshot of the public registry of trace a member, indicating your membership with the qualified accounting body is still active. So once you have shared that screenshot, that is, it demonstrates that okay, you are an active member, and so you can appear for the CI challenge exam. As I said, we are a cost accountant, company secretary, chartered financial analyst, not a chartered accountant. Are we eligible? The answer is no. Only candidates from one of the 18 accounting bodies we have talked about are eligible for CI challenge exam. Folks, when you're registering for the examination, you will also have to get your characters reference approved. So who can approve your character reference? Any one of your supervisor can approve the character reference. You will have to put his or her email ID, and then once you have put, there will be an auto notification email that will be received, and one can approve. Or you can reach out to any of the IA member, any other IA board member, or any colleague, certified employer, or any other person, and even your supervisor, to clear your character reference. So you can just put the necessary person's ID, email ID, and the person will get the notification. Once approved, the process gets completed. How do I register for the examination, folks? The slides will be shared with you all, so you can just click on it, and then you will be reaching out to the URL for registering for your CI challenge examination. So you can just you can search through this URL like iaindia.co global certification CI challenge exam, either through this or through IA Global for CISA candidate. You can go through this URLs, and then you can apply and register for the challenge exam. I've already talked about the fees. What are the fees for the challenge exam? We've talked about, can these fees paid in installment? The answer is the fees has to pay it in one go. There is no EMI facility as such, but there is a finance related facility that is given by iIndia to the specific group of members. and we'll talk about that also. Is there a refund process, folks? The answer is no. Once we have paid the fee, there's no refund process for the fee related aspect. What is the amount of concession from the members residing in India? I think I've already talked about how the differences between IA India member fee for versus IA non-member fee, folks. What fees do I need to pay to become a member? I've already talked about it. 1,500 is one-time fee. 4,000 is the annual fee that needs to be paid every year to stay an active member for iIndia. And we've talked about the benefits as well. How does the CI channel exam cost compare with regular Part 3 exams? Again, I've talked about it already, that Part 3 has approximately cost of about $700+. However, there's no content that is provided, and one will have to go for an additional content coverage. Will I be eligible for concessional study loans from the banks, NBFCs? Again, as I said, one can go from a self-financing options, or can look for reimbursements, loans from their respective employers, or in fact, I has tie up with uh, Bank of Baroda to help you all to get through the finance mode. Again, you can reach out to Chanchal for necessary support as required. How do I prepare for the CI exam? Are there any coaching candidates, coaching material available? As I said, yes, we have an active batches going on frequently. You can reach out to IA Bombay. Also on the IA website, you can refer to the past coverage of the trainings that were done by a Singapore-based trainer. But this was done in May 21, and those recordings are very much available, so one can click on the URL and can look on those videos as well. Folks, very importantly is uh, the tie-up is such that, okay, if you're going for the CI channel exam and you want to practice more MCQs, I also have a tie-up with GLEM. So just by paying $50, but only for 60 days valid period, you also get an additional MCQ bank for 3,000 questions where you can practice and try more MCQs as well by paying very nominal fee of $50, versus if you would have paid yourself, it would not cost less than I mean, it's much more. It's probably 4 or 5 times of what is the fee, discounted fee we are talking about. But one thing that we need to be very careful on is, if we want to go for it, we have to ensure that the timelines that we're looking at is just 60 days. You cannot extend it. So let's say if you want to go for attempting for February 23 attempt, in that case, do you want to really want to take it right away? The answer is that's a choice that you need to make, or you want to do it probably in December and January, because the eligibility and the validity for these question bank is only for 60 days. When will I receive the customized CI learning system? So once CI learning system, once you have enrolled for the course, again, you will get the CI learning system access within 7 days, folks. What is the syllabus? I've talked about in detailed syllabus. You can click on it and you can get more detail to the syllabus for the CI challenge exam. Can I download and share the study material provided? The answer is, folks, you can download, but that is not printable. So you can just download, you can study, but you will not be able to share it. So you can see it on the screen. It's not that you will have to be online, but then again, you can just download, but you cannot share it, you cannot print it. So that's how it has been designed, but you can study it online. All right, how can I download the ebooks, folks? Again, for that, you once you have the CI learning system, I think it is easy. You will have to just click on certain links and then you can download it from there. But yes, there is a minimum configuration for having in terms of Adobe system that should be there for your system as a system features. But again, that should not be a challenge. I think it should be an easy fix. For any such administrative queries, you can reach out to Chanchal. I think I've already talked about minimum requirements for passing the examination. How many attempts? As I said, there is no such number of attempts, but there is a 3-year window within which you have to clear it. The waiting period, if one doesn't clear the exam, is 60 days. When will I receive my CI certification? Once I clear the examination. So again, the score that you receive is right there immediately, folks. Once you have attempted, the examination score come right away, and then within the next 24 hours, you receive an email from Pearson VUE for a confirmed score, and the certification is getting reflected on your CCMS portal within 7 business days, within 7 working days, folks. So that's how you receive the certification. I think I've already talked about process for registering. Do I need to visit the center? Yes, we need to visit the center. Will I receive my score? I've already covered. Is it possible to make the payment in Indian rupee? Yes, you can make the payment in Indian rupee simply. Can I consult or refer a book study material during the exam? Absolutely no, folks. You cannot take anything with you in the examination, nor your phone, nor your handkerchief, nor your nor any pen, nor any paper, nor any calculator. Nothing will be allowed to take in the examination. You will have to go empty-handed. It will be followed with a proper security checks by the FSMU center, and then once you are in, you will get a calculator on your screen. You will get a pen and the worksheet for yourself to write something by the Pearson view. You cannot carry anything of yourself to the examination center. Definitely not a book or a study material. I've talked about benefits of CI certification, folks. Of course, it's a global recognition, bring a lot of credibility, higher income, larger global landscape, job opportunities all globally, and of course, a lot of expertise that we've talked about in terms of where we can add value across the service lines. These are the these are the contact numbers, folks, if you want to reach out for respective locations and some of the key cities. Can candidates for the CIHL exam avail financing option? As I said, yes, there is. But for this, you can separately reach out to Chanchul to help you around it. Yes, there are criteria to it in terms of CIBIL score. So this could be a case-to-case requirement, and that could be supported by IA India. So folks, this is just the link of the trainings that were conducted in 21. One can click on the link and look at those old recordings as well that was conducted back in 2021 to help you to understand a little bit more. There is no such change in the course as such from a course structure standpoint of view. So that's all for today, folks. I'll be happy to take any further doubts. So thank you so much for joining in. I think I was able to complete on time. Sana, please feel free to add if you want to add something. So I think Mayur is asking one last question. Can you suggest book of any author which can be beneficial? Mayur, I think IA content is self-sufficient if you want to go through it. Again, the important is concept clarity. You want to read content from 𝐀𝐫𝐩𝐢𝐭, you want to read content from IA. I think the way I put it up is the most important is concept clarity. Whatever content help you to bring the concept clarity is something you can go through and you can refer that. But more prominent is IA and the 𝐀𝐫𝐻 content. And of course, you can take more discussions and more insights from what we do with IA Bombay also to get a better understanding in terms of concept clarity. Yeah, so I think I'm precisely, that was what I wanted to cover. I would appreciate IA India to give me this opportunity to help the members to understand about the course. Over to you, Sana. Thank you.
Thanks, Arpit, for the wonderful session today. And I'm glad that all the questions by the attendees is duly covered within the session itself. And I'm sure that people get a good understanding and clarity about CIA Challenge Exam. They can leverage on this knowledge and take it forward, take their career forward in the internal audit segment. Thank you once again, Arpit, for taking out time and handling today's session. I'm sure people will be benefited from this and will take a decision of joining this session for the CIA Challenge Exam. Thanks a lot.
Good luck, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. Appreciate everyone's time. Take care. Good day.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.